Good afternoon. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Melissa if you're new here. So today's video is all about my plant shop. I figured I would give you an update on what's growing in here. I've been doing a lot of propagating. I'll give you a peek at the plants in the restock, and I have a few updates like shipping updates as well to share with you. I don't think I'm going to do any plant care for today's video. I have a lot to do still. I feel like I've been potting up and propagating nonstop, especially like some of last week and then continuing on this week. If you missed my Hoya video, I did like 100 and I think it ended up being 107 Hoya propagations I did in one evening. It was a lot. So yeah, I think I'll just focus on like a mini update for today's video. And you guys hopefully are watching this on Friday, so the restock will be going live today. I don't do these plant shop videos like normally during a restock. I just figured I would give you an update, especially since I changed the shipping policy actually last night. I was making some adjustments to hopefully better improve just everything in general. And then, yeah, I figured I could just go ahead and update you since I need to update you anyway. I did send an email out last night, so if you have not gotten it, I would check maybe your spam folder, but I just sent a little update about the changes. A couple questions I keep getting a lot is what time are your restocks and what plants are you selling in your restocks? Do you have a particular plant available? And those are questions about availability I can't really answer. So restock time, there's no set time. It's usually between like 12 and 6, 12 and 4 on a Thursday or Friday. Honestly, Fridays work better for me, but I always put the date at the top of my website. And then I always send out the email newsletter once the plants are actually live and you can shop them. I don't do a time anymore because I felt a little stressed to get plants posted at a certain time, because usually I'm doing listings the morning of or the night before, especially when I'm doing a bigger restock. Like for this restock, I have 50 plants and it's a lot to get all their individual photos taken. Do the listings and everything. Because I sell exact plants, I just don't use a stock photo because it would be easier to do that. But I create like all new listings, all new photos, so it's just a little bit more time consuming, and it depends on what is going on for that particular week. Like if I have other filming and plant care and stuff to catch up on, making plants is what I'm doing most of the time. It can be a busy week, and yeah, so it really just depends. So no set restock time. And then for availability, I don't do holds or pre-orders. And because I pick plants for the restock, usually that week or the week before, I don't really know in advance what is ready per se because I home grow everything. I spend so much time like caring and growing out these plants, and whatever I feel is ready for that week is usually picked and pulled aside for the restock, but I don't really know. I can't really tell you in advance because it really is dependent on the plant, how quickly it grows. And yeah, no holds or pre-orders, so I don't sell off the restock at all. So whatever is listed that week will be on the restock, and the newsletter goes out once they're on the site. And then just quickly to hit on the shipping changes. So I've decided that shipping is going to be UPS 3-day minimum. So I'm completely getting rid of ground shipping for plants only. I had tested this around December because December it started getting really cold in some places, and ground shipping is just really unreliable for plants because they go through different routing than air shipments, and delays are possible with ground. Delays are possible with any air shipment as well, but ground just takes longer, ground service. And with plants during like more extreme weather, it's too risky, and I just feel better about plants going out with a minimum of 3-day. So I was having issues on my website, and I know you guys don't really care about this or to understand the logistics because you don't sell plants, or probably most of you don't sell plants. But I was able to figure out on my website how to sort of disable ground for a plant purchase, except if you have like a substrate on with your plant purchase, ground will show up now. It just will come up in the cart as an error if you try to check out with a plant on there. So plants will ship minimum of 3-day, And there's still like expedited shipping available, 2-day air and UPS next day air. What I think was happening too was ground shipping was the first one that showed up, and I feel like some people probably didn't realize that you could hit the little check mark and more shipping options would populate. I think because it was the first one showing, that's what people checked out with. And so now that I kind of figured out how to work around that on my website, hopefully that doesn't keep happening. And I changed the shipping region and weight. So prior I was doing flat rate shipping. If it was over 2 pounds, it was a little bit more expensive because the heavier packages cost more to ship, especially dense pond. I feel like that's my main culprit for how expensive some of these packages can be to ship. Pond is very heavy and shipping can be more expensive with heavier packages and bigger packages. So what I've decided to do was do it on a region now. It's still going to be based on the weight of the package. I just changed the weights to like 0 to 5 pounds, 5 to 13, and then over 13, you'll be paying the most for shipping because it's obviously the heaviest. And I set it up by zones now. So there's zone A, which is more of the southeast. So states really close to me like Florida, the Carolinas, Georgia, Alabama. You guys will be paying the least amount for shipping because you guys are closer, less distance to travel. And then zone B will be east central, and then zone C is West Coast. So the shipping prices will automatically populate for you when you go to checkout. So if you just order a plant, it'll be under the 5 pounds. And so if you order a plant and say a bag of pond, it should still be under the 5 pounds. The weight I have in the system for pond is 3 pounds, but sometimes the pond bags ends up being even sometimes 3.5 pounds when I actually go to weigh the box at the very end when I have the plant packaged and everything. Most plants are around 1 pound to 2 pounds. Obviously, the bigger they are, the more packaging material I have to use, the bigger the box, the more they weigh. So the further the package has to travel, the cost goes up a little bit depending on, again, how much the package weighs, what's all included in the package. So I'm gonna see how it goes with this shipping that I've set up. And I've also decided that you don't have to worry about winter protection anymore. So the rest of this winter season and starting the end of this year for the new winter shipping, I'm automatically going to include heat packs, insulation. You don't have to pay anything extra for that. I'm already checking and spending so much time checking. Not only do I check each individual order's weather, but I'm checking the weather at certain shipping hubs, especially Louisville. It's the main UPS hub. I'm checking if there's any inclement weather, snowstorms, nor'easters, hurricanes. I'm like a meteorologist now. And then obviously if it's too cold or too hot, then I have to hold packages. And if I do end up holding your package, I'll reach out to you sometime after the restock when I start processing orders on Sunday. I feel like it's just going to make things more smooth. So you check out on whatever you want to purchase, choose your shipping method, and that's it. And this is just how I feel that's going to work better for me. Obviously, every shop that you purchase from is going to have their own set of policies, own set of rules, own set of add-ons that you have to purchase. I mean, I buy 99% of my plants through other shops and sellers, so I'm always checking their individual policies and seeing what I have to add on to my order. So it's different wherever you go, and I'm not saying this way is the right way or their way is the wrong way. This is just how I'm doing it moving forward, and hopefully it's just, yeah, like I said, smoother all along. I think that's really all the updates. I haven't decided the restock for next week yet. I usually don't know when the next restock will be until after processing and shipping. So the restock will be, you're watching this today on Friday. So I start shipping plants, well, I start processing orders around noon on Sunday. And so I'll be packaging Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And so usually Tuesdays after any last orders that I'm packing up and sending off, Tuesdays is also my main day where I have to water everything in here, and it kind of creeps onto Wednesday. And so that's usually when I'm picking plants for the next restock. looking at things more closely, and that's usually when I decide when the next restock should be. If I feel like I don't have as much inventory, I might just skip that week, and that way it'll give me more time to prep for the next restock. And again, it depends on what else I have going on, because I am a one woman show over here. I literally could list a long list of roles that I fulfill as one individual, and it can be a lot some weeks. So I'm only one person managing all this and growing everything and communicating emails and packing. So some weeks can really be a lot. So I have to give myself time to kind of recoup as well. So if I don't have a restock, it gives me a little bit of a breather so I can catch up on other plant care and stuff. But if you have any questions about any of the changes, just let me know down below. Again, I did send that email out, so if you didn't get it, I would maybe check your spam folder. I'll also include that in the newsletter email that I'll send out today for the restock. Again, I don't have a set time that the restock is going live. I'll see how the day flows. All right, let me give you a look at the restock plants. All right, here on this shelf is all the plants that are in the restock. So this shelf, the middle one, and then the third shelf here. So there's about 50 plants. I will say this restock is more on the higher side. Probably the next few restocks, there won't be as many plants. I'm sort of in the period of growing, and a lot of plants aren't ready for sale yet. So I'll probably be a little slow over the next few restocks, and then hopefully as things kind of grow, I can hopefully start to list more again. But I didn't have a restock last week, so I have a little bit extra for this week's restock. And then up here on the shelf, I have a lot of the Hoyas I have been listing. I have some Lacunose mints. I have a really big full one back there. I have a Louisa Silver. I have a Sulcata. I have an Abovada Splash back there. And then I have a few more Hoyas on this one over here. I'm restocking 3 more Hoya linearis for this week's restock. So I sell exact plants, but Hoya linearis I have on there as grower's choice because honestly, they all look pretty much the same. There's the same amount of propagations and they're about the same length and everything. So I feel like it's just easier to have grower's choice for these, but they look roughly the same. Linearis is the only one I didn't get to propagate when I did the Hoya day. So I'm going to make another bin of these soon, and I may add more propagations to maybe half of them so that I can sell some fuller pots. But I would say there's anywhere from like 5 to 8 cuttings per pot. It really depends. Like this one is shooting more growth points. I have a couple up top here, and I have a couple like here that are forming, and then I have some longer ones. So that's roughly what they look like. Let me get another one here. See, they kind of all look the same. They're very happy guys. I like linearis. So I'll have 3 of those listed. I have a couple Matilde Splash. And you guys will see in the restock like all their photos. This one has a nice set of splashy leaves. This one is more full there, and I have a couple. I haven't listed those yet, the Hoya Pubicalix Pink Silver Ghost. I have a couple of those. This one's really nice. This one has a lot of silver. And then I have a Hoya that I got as, it was like a clipping in one of my plant mail purchases. I have it listed for $10 as an add-on just because I don't know the exact ID. I just listed it for $10 just because of the time I spent growing it and propagating it and everything, but it has a nice huge like new leaf here. It kind of looks like Hoya Mina to me, but I'm not sure. It's definitely not what the seller told me it was because it looks nothing like the plant. So I just have it listed as a no ID just because I don't know for sure what it is. But that will be like a $10 add-on. I have more Hoyas in this bin here. I love how pink this Carnosa Flamingo Dream is. Like it's so pink and pretty. I can't tell if that's focusing or not. I have a couple Polynura, a silver and an all green. I have more of the SP Garut VN246. I love the blooms on this one. Here's a peduncle that is going to open soon. The blooms are so cute. I have a bigger one that has like 6 peduncles or something crazy. I have another Matilde variegated. I have a Thomsonii pink. It has really fuzzy leaves. I haven't sold one of these in a really long time. I haven't propagated my plant. So I got that one. I also have this cutie, which I haven't had in a really long time. This is IM08. It has really cute fuzzy flowers. This one's a lot more difficult to propagate, so I haven't really had one in some time. And it does have a peduncle, so you may get some blooms. I feel like this one blooms pretty easily. A new Hoya I'm listing, I haven't listed yet, is more like a unicorn Hoya, one that's harder to come across, and these are a little bit more expensive. I haven't sold one, but I feel like my specimen, it has this down here, and then it has this node, and then this one here. So I feel like because mine is a bigger specimen, I priced it at what I thought I should price it at, but I know these are still pretty expensive. But these leaves here are more of a dark green because they're hardened off, but these new set of leaves, they're still like hardening, so they're a little bit of a lighter green. They haven't fully come in yet. I have another specimen that has that pattern a lot more, but I'm hoping this one, it kind of comes in with that pattern as well. But you can't really see it because the leaf hasn't hardened off yet. But this leaf is huge. It spit out and then it's working on that there. So I feel like it's a decent little size specimen, so I'm excited for this one. Oh my God, I felt something in my shirt. I'm like, I thought it was a bug. But it's just my microphone cord. I was getting anxious. I have one of my own hybrid creations I'm listing. This one has grown to be a bigger anthurium, so I don't remember what I listed this as, maybe like $35 or $40, I don't remember, but it's so cute. So this is my Doriakii Fergitii, that's the mother plant, and then the pollen parent is Magnificum, and it's so stinking cute. That's the newest leaf. So I feel like this one is growing very nicely. So that's on there. I have like just a basic marble queen. This is clippings from my plant. And I feel like it's lining. Like I feel like if you put this on a pole, it's going to start sizing up nicely. And I have 2 whole trays down here of other plants I'll show you, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, only 6 alocasia for this week. I have a couple pink polys. One is reverted, but they're from my highly variegated mother plant. I showed it recently in a video. This one has a nice variegated leaf. I feel like they might already have corms, or they're going to be corming very soon. Like this one has a couple spikes here in the bottom, which might be corms down in there. There's like 2 little growth point spikes. So it's possible. But this one's all green, but the mother plant is variegated, and her corms may come in with variegation, or she could develop more pink. She's only had 3 leaves. Like that was the first leaf, which was huge. So who knows, she may come in with more color. So I'll have 2 of those. This one's getting ready to push a new leaf very soon. I have a Regal Shields, which is pretty big. It's getting ready to push a new leaf as well. Regal Shields from my mother plant. New leaf incoming. Pretty. I have Silver Dragon, and then I am going to list one of the Albo Regal Shields. This one here. I feel like it has good coloring. This leaf here, the all white one, did get an area where it got a little bit brown right there, crispy. And then it has one leaf that's more of like a mint. And then the newest one has color. So I'll be listing this one. And then kind of down here on these shelves, I really don't want to, I don't know if I want to move these. A lot of the monsteras I set up to grow. I'm going to list this one because it put out a new leaf, so I feel like this one's ready. It's not as like big yet, but it came from, you know, this was like node grown from a mid cut. So this is what the growth has done so far. So it's going to start sizing up for you, but it has really good color. But just one Monstera Albo for this week. I have a couple Syndapsis. I have a, I have a Halo Micans. I'm listing 2 of my snow-capped begonias, and they're really full. They have a lot of growth points already. I don't remember what I'm listing these for. I think for like I either did 135 or 145, I don't remember, but just because they're a bigger specimen and they're already shooting off so much growth. So I have this one, and then this one's a longer guy, like his stem is longer, but it has so much growth coming in. It's going to be a really bushy plant soon, but it's so pretty. So I'll have 2 of those for the restock. I probably need to water some of these guys here soon. I try to water these guys the day before shipping, so on Saturday sometime. I'm listing one Mikens Aria. The newest leaf is all green, but the stem is very variegated. I think the new leaf, is it variegated? I can't tell yet, but the stem is still variegated on it. A nicely variegated Monstera Peru. The newest leaves, the variegation is still burning in, but they'll harden off to more yellow color. I have a couple Pink Princess, a Rhaphidophora Tetrasperma Albo. I actually have a Glorious. I haven't had a Glorious in a while, and a Monstera Obliqua. Whoa. It's Glorious. I have a little Cebu Blue, and I think that's pretty much it. The Syndapsis. I have a Silver Lady. This is my last propagation. I downsized my mother plant, so I had a couple clippings that were rooting and growing, and so I made this plant out of what I have left. So Silver Lady is she can spit some really silver leaves, and then her regular leaves kind of look like that. She's a very pretty Syndapsis. And then Jade Satin is one of the slowest plants to propagate because the growth takes forever. I can't tell you how long this has been propagating, you guys. This has been propagating for months and months, but it has so much new growth now, finally. This is from my big trailing mother plant in my plant room. So this is a nice like starter plant, and I love the dark green foliage. Yeah, just be prepared to take ages for cuttings to produce new growth. It's funny how some plants are like that, like they take forever. All right, so those were all the ones there on the bottom, and then again the middle shelf and the top shelf with the Hoyas. Above that, I did have one of my Albo Regal Shields mother plants up there, but it got too big. It was hitting the grow light, so I actually put it into my plant room. I don't know where I'm going to put it long term, but I actually have a couple plants up there that I was supposed to downsize. I have like my Philodendron Splendid from a node, another Glorious that I grew from a node. I have a Monstera Obliqua and my Epipanatum Albo in the far right container. So I'm like, I was supposed to downsize them, but I'm like, they're kind of some of my last props, so do I really want to? So I'm like, ugh, I kind of want to hold on to them. And then I have some Hoya there in the middle that are restarts that they're kind of like my last prop of as well. I have a couple Lacinosa in there, and actually I think they're all pretty much Lacinosa. I might hang on to some of them, but I might let some go. I'll have to see how I feel. But I just have them there for now because I didn't want to officially downsize them yet. And then on the bottom of this shelf, I have a couple bins of Anthurium. I only have a few of my hybrid left. And then I do have some other hybrids growing. I have some Brielle Michelle. I think I have a blue velvet, and I took a couple of clone, like stem clone cuttings of one of my Anthurium. It's like a Carla hybrid. So those I just did, so those will have to grow for a bit, but I only have a few Anthurium right now. If you're wanting Anthurium pallidiflorum, I'm going to have so many in the coming months. So I have 3 inflows that are pollinated on my pallies. I have 2 pallies, one's more narrow and one's more wide. I have a really big wide plant that has 2 inflows that are pollinated, and then the narrow one has 1 inflow that's pollinated. So I've been like checking every week when I water, and I feel like they're getting closer and closer and closer. So probably this summer, I'm gonna have so many pilliforms, you guys. It's going to be, I don't know if I should sell seeds or if I should sell seeds that have like rooted some, if I should sell like little seedlings, or I should grow them out more and sell them as like small starter plants. But I'm definitely going to run out of room in here, because I wouldn't be surprised if I have over 300 seeds from one inflow, because there's so many berries it looks like it's going to have. So you'll have to let me know if you would be interested. I could sell some seeds like in bulk, but I'll see how it goes. I'm going to have a lot of pallies coming up. I think that'll be the Anthurium hybrid for me this year. And you guys have seen these shelves several times already. Hoya is here on the right side, so I have all this of Hoya, and I actually over propped Hoya, so I have 2 more bins of Hoya down here, like right here to the left, but this is all Hoya here. And I did 7 bins recently, so they're the ones on the bottom. Those ones haven't really grown a whole lot yet. And then I have some more Hoya that have been growing for a bit in the top bin, so I'll probably pull from there for the next few restocks. And then I have to make linearis yet. I'll probably end up chopping that linearis all the way back, and then I'll eventually take props from the other one. But that's the one that I've been propping from lately. I have a couple more mother plants up top, and I'm thinking about moving those to somewhere, because I have 3 Monstera albos that honestly don't really fit the space in here. And then I have a couple Syngonium beside that one up top. I have a Syndapsis. And then I have Just Sienna and a Marble Queen, not Marble Queen, a Manjula up top. Honestly, those need to be repotted. I just don't know where to put those, because my plant room is kind of maxed out right now until I do more chopping. Look at all the Monsteras there on the end. I have Monstera Aria and Albo. I just planted those last week, and I have probably 6 to 7 more Monsteras to pot up, but that's the growth that came out of the mid cuttings, because I sold all the top cuttings that I had. So once those grow a bit more, I will start listing those once they're ready. So here's a closer look at them. I have a couple bins of begonia here. This one obviously is holding more humidity, because I potted a lot of these up recently. So I want them, the extra humidity helps with rooting. So this one's under more humidity, and then this one is more under ambient conditions. So I'll look at listing probably some of these here in the coming weeks. I also have a new one that I haven't listed yet. I know, so when I bought this begonia, I think it was only in the mail for 2 days, and it had dropped like 4 or 5 leaves. So I know it's probably a finicky shipper. Actually, I have a couple of them in here. I think it starts with an M. I'll have to look up the exact ID. Okay, I think that lighting's a little bit better. So yeah, I don't think it's, so this was in my terrarium that I had in there, and then it grew so quickly and it outgrew it. It doesn't really need terrarium conditions. I find it does fine in ambient, but I think it's just a sensitive shipper, so I'm gonna be a little anxious listing these ones. But it does like little single flower blooms. Look how cute that is. But it has like pink polka dots. Has like a red back. It's really pretty. I love the green shade. It's like a darker green. It's a really pretty begonia. So I have a few of those. And this one's actually pushing some new growth spikes. But I potted this, I feel like I'm probably going to give this another week or 2 to root more, because I feel like I did this one maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't remember now, because I've done so many potting ups. This is the one under high humidity. I want to show you the white ice, because it's so stinking cute. I just potted these up like 2 days ago. Look at how pretty she is. Right? She is stunning. I can't stop staring at her. She's so pretty. Her leaves, like she spit out a lot of new ones, but they'll fade to like a darker green. And the white contrast with the polka dots is so pretty. I have several of those growing. I have really been into begonia lately. I'm gonna film a begonia collection maybe next week sometime. I'll have to see, maybe next week. Because I have a couple that, I actually had a few new ones that I got this year that are growing. I need to repot one of them, but I've been really into begonia lately, which I was like, I'm not good with begonia. I'm not good with begonias that need high humidity, but I'm okay with begonias in ambient. It's just the terrarium begonias. I'm not trying to get any of those. At least I'm trying not to. But yeah, I've been really into begonias lately. So that was the begonias. So these trays here are a lot of new starts of just like random, they're mostly philodendron and then minus the Hoya bins. And then I have other monsteras. But I would say mostly phylos. I have a bin of syngonium there. I have some that I just potted up. This whole back wall here is alocasia. Let's go ahead and show you some alocasia. Well, it's all alocasia minus the bottom rows. These are node wet stick propagation. So if I'm propagating a plant and I have an extra wet stick node, I toss it in a bin like those there, and it grows into a new plant for me. I went through these recently. I have a couple more over here. One is like really needs done. I need to like pot a lot of those up. They're overgrown. And then I have another one there. And I actually have two more in my plant room I need to go through. That's like another bin of philodendron there. And then yeah, I have a corm tray that is full. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Those alocasias I potted up not too long ago. And then I have a couple up top that have been growing. The ones here in this bin, I'm kind of using some of those as like secondary mother plants. So I've harvested some corms from them so that I don't have to disturb my mother plants as often. So I'm not listing those. I may eventually, but I'll have to see. And then I have some more growing on the left. But a lot of these in the bins, they're getting high humidity right now just to help them establish. And then I'll acclimate them to more ambient conditions. So all the plants are acclimated to ambient conditions, and humidity, roughly, it's 52 in here right now, and it's pretty warm in here because of all the grow lights. This sits under our grow light, so it might be reading a little bit warmer. But over summer, this can reach, I feel like the highest it got in here was 86 degrees, which is crazy. The lowest humidity it got in here is 35%, and the highest it's gotten in here is 82%. But I would say average is like 50, sometimes over winter it's like mid 40s, I would say. If anything isn't acclimated, it's something that's going to need high humidity, so maybe a begonia in the future. But yeah, everything is like used to like normal conditions. My corm tray here is so full. I actually need to start taking some of the ones that have sprouted out. So these on the left have sprouted, and then these I planted not that long ago. In the alocasia video I did not too far back, I have pink chans, dragon elbow scale, pink polys. I have a lot of pink polys. I have all kinds of various corms that have sprouted. I think I have a couple true pink amazonicas in here that sprouted, so I'm excited for those. Like, look how cute they are. They're so little. Baby alocasias are my favorite. So those have a ways to go here before I start listing some. But they're under high humidity right now. So yeah, I did these on 2/13. So about 2 weeks ago, I potted them up. But yeah, they're under more humidity. In here, I have some more rare alocasia. I have some pink black velvet and nobilis. A couple of these are shooting a lot of pink, so I don't know if they're going to be sellable. So that's why I like to grow my corms out to see how the variegation does, and I may find something unique that I may want to hold back for me. But the main reason is growing these from corm, you just don't know if they're going to grow all pink. So I like to grow everything out, and so I can have a healthy plant to send to somebody. So those are growing. I have some allocation here that are more rare. Again, these are under high humidity. But I have a lot of regal elbow shields. I have some pink mint cupria. I have pink bambino. I have some pink shan in here. So yeah, those are growing. It'll probably be a bit before. The regal elbow shields grows pretty quickly, so I might transition to those to lower humidity here soon. But I did these on 2/13 as well. And then yeah, I did these on 2/13 as well. I did so many alocasia. There's so many in here too. A lot of these are cupria and heterophylla. There's some like random aloes in that one. Yeah, I think a lot of the heterophylla, there's more Frydek in here. And Cupria, you can see them a little bit better. So they're starting to grow. So yeah, right now they've been growing for 2 weeks and I potted those up from the corm tray. So I feel like some of them are starting to grow pretty regularly, especially now that it's warmer or getting warmer. So hopefully I'll start to transition them to more ambient in the next couple of weeks and then let them grow a little bit longer. So I'm thinking March, I'll be able to sell some of these alocasia. And yeah, I did so many of my Hoyas in these bins. So many different varieties. I have some rare Hoya, some common Hoya. I tried to propagate from a lot of different plants so that I would have a good variety. But as soon as I empty some bins, I'm going to continually propagate because that's my goal, is to keep all these bins full. I have a couple empty bins behind me that I'll fill up here because I want to go through my node bins, these down here on the bottom. So I'll probably fill those up and then do the rest of the Monstera. And yeah, so there'll probably be a little bit of a lull between now and like the end of March where it's going to be a little bit slow until a lot of these grow. But Hoyas grow relatively quickly. I would say once they grow enough roots and stabilize out of high humidity, it's roughly 4 to 6 weeks. And I just did these probably not even a week ago, so those won't be ready for a bit. But yeah, it really just depends on how quickly they grow. And then I do have the Rudsta in here with, these aren't plants that I'm selling, they're like mother plants. A lot of these I will transition back to my plant room, but they're just kind of hanging out in the Rudsta for now. I have a couple Anthurium that are rehabbing in propagation bins. I have some corms and water in there. I have one of my seeds from my Anthurium has sprouted, but I think it's the only one that survived because the inflow aborted early, so the seeds weren't ripe. But I do have a little leaf sprout, so I don't know if that's going to survive. I have an alocasia back there on the top shelf. I have my Maharani that's huge and dragon scale that I'll get moved. And then I have my Florida Ghost on the bottom along with a very white Marble Queen and then my variegated Monstera Peru. So I'll probably get those moved. Ideally, I would love to grow just alocasia in this cabinet, maybe some like starters. That was kind of my idea, was to move some of the high humidity alocasias over to the Rudsta to like get them more acclimated, and then from there I'll like move them to ambient, but I don't know. I haven't decided. I kind of like the way the Rudsta looks right now with the plants that are in here. I might end up just using it as a rehab station, but we'll see. But right now I like the setup. And yeah, I have a couple Hoyas to pot up here on the table. I have like a Ziploc bag of some Hoya props that I took when I was watering. Some of them got kind of long, so I'm going to start a couple new plants. And then I have a Justine Pothos here that I was thinking about letting climb because of the variegation. It was really nice, but I don't know if I want to do that now. I'm kind of behind on getting this potted up, but it's like really yellow. So I don't know what my plan is. I might just pot it up and just start another trailing basket. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for restock updates and what I have growing right now and plants that are going to be in the restock. And I am going to start propagating a lot of plants in my plant room as well. A lot of philodendron. I'm going to be chopping some Monstera, some more Monstera. What else is in there? Honestly, that room is mostly Monstera and alocasia. I have begonia. I might prop begonia again soon too. But yeah, I'm going to be propagating, like I said, every week. I always make new plants up all the time. In my free time that I'm not filming or doing other work or editing, I am making plants. But yes, thank you again so much. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will talk to you in the next one.